When I was young, I didn't have much. I didn't have good grades. I had a 2.7 GPA in high school. I didn't go to a top college. I went to a very easy to get into college. I didn't have rich parents or connections. I grew up broke. But what I did have was a dream, a feeling, a desire, call it what you will. I just had this innate feeling that I was meant for more in life. And I'm guessing if you clicked this video, you have that feeling too. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you have that feeling, then this video is for you. Because I want to break down exactly how I went from just having that feeling to ultimately selling my business for $110 million when I was just 31 years old. Let's get into it. So if you're new here, my name is Michia. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been building businesses basically my whole life, and I make videos like this every week to teach you how to do the same. So the business I sold was called Prodigy, and we built software for car dealerships to help them sell cars online. But we didn't get there by saying we had this massive passion for helping car dealerships and that's who we want to build software for. No, the first thing I did when starting this business was I looked at markets and I picked a large market. You see, I didn't want to settle for building a business that makes me $1,000 a week or $10,000 a month. I wanted something that could change my life. And I hoped if I aim for the stars, maybe I'll land on the moon. And so I looked at thousands of markets and tried to figure out what are large, old markets where people are spending a lot of money on software, but they're not happy with the current results. And I looked at things like retirement homes and self-storage software companies, all sorts of different opportunities, and ultimately landed on car dealerships simply because it's a very large market. Over $1 trillion of cars are sold in the US every year, but the software sucks. And so I figured I could build a real business there that even if I just capture a small market could change my life forever. But on top of that, I did the second key, which is I stacked the deck in my favor. You see, there are other large markets I could have picked. I could have picked food delivery or ride sharing or online commerce. There are a lot of markets that are very large that I could have gone into, but I wanted to pick something both large and where I knew I would have an unfair advantage. And this is why car dealerships were so great for us. I knew that every smart kid in Stanford was working on the next Facebook, the next Instagram, but very few people wanted to build software for car dealerships. And frankly, when I looked at the competition, the people that were building software for car dealerships didn't really impress me. So I thought, listen, I might not be the smartest person in Silicon Valley, but I can beat these other people in a market where there's not a lot of smart people playing. And so I picked a market where I knew I could stack the deck in my favor. The third thing I did is I fell in love with my customers, not my product. And this ended up being extremely important. See, early on, our business idea was we're gonna build advertising tech for car dealerships. The idea was, what if we can predict the people that are most likely to buy a car in the next 90 days and serve them advertisements and then charge dealerships for making that connection? And while this sounded like a good idea on the surface, the more we talked to car dealerships and the more we tried to sell this product, we realized it had some really fundamental flaws. And so we had to pivot. And we still served car dealerships, but rather than building them advertising software, we said, what do you really want? What is the top need in your business? And by not falling in love with my idea of the advertising technology, but falling in love with the market and my customers, I was able to listen to them, to learn and build what they ultimately wanted. And this mindset saved our butt multiple times. See, it wasn't just in the early days when we realized that our business idea wasn't working. About 2 years into the business, the online platform that we built also wasn't working. We went through a period where nearly every customer canceled on us. I had to fire almost the entire team, really go back to the roots and say, what did we miss? We know our dealerships want something from us, but we're just not getting it right. By staying humble and being willing to learn and ultimately build what the customer wants, not what I want to build, we are able to build a real business. The fourth thing I did, and maybe one of the most important things I ever did, was I actively surrounded myself with mentors. You see, there's this quote, I can't remember who said it, but it basically says, your life is the average of the 5 people you're closest with. And I took this to heart. So I actively surrounded myself with the 5 most successful people I could possibly find. I knew that by just getting around them, they wouldn't average down and be to my level of success. I would rise up to their average and I would be far more successful. So every time an investor invested in a company or I met someone that was well connected, I would say, hey, listen, I'm a new CEO. I'm trying to get better. Do you have anyone in your network that you think is an exceptional CEO that's running a very successful company? I would love to just grab coffee with them and learn from them. And more often than not, people would say, actually, I have a couple people that might be helpful. Here's a list. And then I would go through that list and see who I wanted to meet. And once I was connected with these mentors, I would do anything to get them on my team. Some I just ended up paying. I would pay them monthly for their advice. Some I would make advisors in my company and give them equity. Whatever it took to get my foot in the door with these successful people, I knew might be expensive today, but would pay off massively in the future. And it absolutely did. By surrounding myself with people more intelligent, more successful, better at being a CEO than myself, I was able to get to their level. Now, the fifth thing I did is I constantly sharpened my mind. Now, when you're an entrepreneur, the natural tendency might be to work on tactical skills. So you want to learn how to do sales better. You want to learn how to build a better website, a better landing page. These are all great, but something I learned from Tony Robbins is the chokehold on every business is not the tactical skills of the leader, it's the mentality of the leader. You see, if you're in the right mindset, in the right mental space, you can get it done. You will find a way. But if you feel defeated, if you feel like you can't do it, then it doesn't matter how much you know, you won't put your knowledge into action and your business will ultimately fail. So yes, I learned new skills. I learned how to do sales better. I learned how to do marketing. But the thing I probably spent the most time on was sharpening my mind, making sure that I had the mental fortitude to get through the day with peak performance. And I knew that if I could get that right, everything else would take care of itself. And the last thing I did to really build my business is relentlessly recruit people smarter than myself. Not just from my mentor circle, but for my team. You see, all business is people business. The quality of the people that you have working alongside you will dictate the quality of your results. So I actively recruited the absolute best people I could find, and then I gave them a chunk of the business so that my success was their success. And ultimately, when we sold for $110 million, I made many people on my team millionaires. And that's the coolest part of being successful. It's not just for you, it's for the people around you that change too. Now, if you want to put this into practice and you actually want to start a business that could change your life too, I just filmed this video, I'll link it over here, on how to start a business. It's the exact step-by-step process, the tactical stuff on how to actually build a business that I used when I was starting Prodigy, the same business that we sold. So just click the link over here, watch the video, it'll give you everything you need, and I'll see you there.